Trump has finally imposed tariffs on Canada, threatening our sovereignty, guys, and we have basically potentially an economic collapse. And a lot of people are asking me, Igor, is real estate going to crash too here in Calgary? Now, guys, we have Mark Carney, who just recently went to UK and France. We have the entire dilemma with the carbon tax. We have so many problems, guys. And today's video, I just want to tell you about the impact, economic impact, and answer the biggest question that I get on a daily basis from a lot of my followers on personal phone calls and clients who are like, what is going to be happening with the real estate market? Is it going to crash? What are we to expect in 2025? And today's video, let's just assume that in April, Trump takes on tariffs and all of our fears actually have happened. So we wait until April 2nd, we get our butt kicked, we get slammed by tariffs, we are screwed so majorly that our economy collapses. And what is going on? What is going to happen with that? Now, guys, I work with a lot of investors, and some of those investors are guys, they are in the scale of even, going into real estate development. And if you talk about the development and building, you have to understand one thing, guys, that even though Canada has so much of land, so much of lumber, forestry, we have all the resources, raw materials, guys. But for us, for example, to build houses over here, a lot of those things have to travel as raw materials to the United States, get refined into a product there, and gets sold back to us, travels back to us in Canada. And 40% of materials on the houses that are like 40% of basically the pre-construction new houses is coming from United States. So with all the tariffs coming into power, that would impact that 40% of the homes. Now, hear me out. This is another thing that people are telling me. They're like, Igor, but well, guys, let's not talk about Calgary specifically right now because I'm in Calgary. Just talk about Canada altogether in general, what we have here in Canada. And in Canada right now, guys, the housing market has been stagnating, going even down. Calgary is an exceptional market for that matter. That's where I am. Calgary is different. Calgary has been doing way better, so much better than the rest of Canada. But let's talk Toronto and places like that. They haven't had much construction going on for over like 3 years now. And people would say, well, they've been continuously building, right? They've been building houses all this time. And now there will be so much of supply of new houses. And the prices should go down because there will be oversupply of houses. But the reality is the builders. Who are those builders, guys? Okay, let's just not talk about builders like they are some kind of holy entities, spiritual beings that don't exist. It's just basically people like you and me, you watching this video. They laugh, they cry, they sleep, they live, they die, and just normal human beings. And the only difference is they have more money, okay? And financing working differently too. So for them, in order to start construction, it would be very stupid of them to actually use their own money to do that. Now, they do have more money than an average Canadian and a wealthy Canadian, but of course, they borrow that money from a bank. How does it normally work? So that kind of mortgage, guys, is they take a loan to build a project, like an apartment complex. Once they sell off 75% of those units, they can take another loan to build another project. So if they haven't sold that, they cannot start a new project. A lot of those builders, developers, have stopped. They haven't started new projects because their current ones aren't sold enough. Most of Canada, guys, by the way, just checking if my camera is working. So what I'm trying to say is the construction stalled for these years in many parts of Canada. Now, I'm not talking about Calgary, Alberta right now. I'm talking about other markets, the rest of Canada, because, people are not buying anything. And there is two types of markets on real estate. One of them is basically resale, and one is basically new construction. So resale is right behind me. Resale is these houses. that already existed and are already built. The inventory for resale all over Canada has also been piling up. And closer to the end of the video, I'll tell you a little bit about the Calgary market itself, so you have a better understanding of what's happening in Calgary. But right now I'm just saying, guys, that the inventory has been piling up on resale and construction has been stalling. So that basically means that the cost of construction has gone up. You would say, well, they haven't built anything, and and with the tariffs and everything, we'll in a moment. Why is the construction cost going up? Well, because just like you paying for your homes, your monthly mortgage payments, those builders, they have to pay theirs. So they are paying their monthly mortgage payments, and the cost of those units, the pre-construction units that they haven't sold, is going up over the time. So it costs them to hold those units not being sold. Plus they can start new projects. And a lot of them don't want to start new projects because of the circumstances and the lack of demand, for so to speak. And why would they build something they cannot sell or they cannot make money on? So the construction slowed down. Plus all the increasing cost for the bureaucracy in Canada to get in development permits, building permits, redevelopment, and all just getting access to the land as well. Like, guys, it's not easy. What people are thinking is easy. Like, goddammit, we cannot trade between provinces easily here in Canada. We literally have tariffs between provinces right now, but that's a topic for a separate video. So that's the problem. And a lot of builders are not building anything. Now, what happens is they put on tariffs, right? Let's talk about tariffs. They already cut down the interest rates just not so long ago, like days back, I would say, by 25 basis points, Bank of Canada. So what is the response of Canada if the tariffs come in power? Just do a wild guess. What has happened during COVID? The Canada recovery benefits happened, right? They printed money. So let's say Trump puts tariffs. What it does to the economy, a lot of businesses are going to lay off people, so the people would have to go on EI, employment insurance. Government would, let's just envision what's going to happen. They already talked about it a little bit, but let's just see if they are going to follow the blueprint. They start giving away tariff response benefits, not COVID response benefits, but tariff response benefits. So they print money to give away to people so that people who left without jobs can somehow survive and pay on for their loans. The most best response Bank of Canada can do, and that's what they will have to do, is to increase the liquidity and of money, and basically so that the money can keep flowing in the economy here in Canada. So what they would do is they would lower the interest rates. You'd say, well, the houses make more affordable. No, not for houses. As I told you, developers, builders, businesses, everyone uses loans and lines of credit to grow their businesses. And the more expensive it is, the less likely businesses to grow, to take those loans. And for people too, like you and me, having cheaper interest rates, we can go and buy more stuff, book more vacations, buy new cars, and things like that, like, expand more money, because the money is cheap, right? The interest rates are low, let's say. So that spending of businesses for growth and from ourselves would increase inflation, right? So they would have to lower down the interest rates. They would increase inflation. On top of the tariffs itself being causing the inflation themselves, being inflammatory, I was going to say. So the tariffs are basically the hidden tax on Canadians to, radically beat up Americans. Americans are our enemies right now, right? So to speak, with the tariffs to stand up for our sovereignty, for our country, and because they're trying to annex Canada, right? We're going to punch them back in the face by paying more tax to the government for American-made product, to Canadian government. So we'll be paying more money. That would make housing more unaffordable too. But in general, it will cause inflation. Now, the good part about real estate is that a lot of times it's inflation proof, so it might not even go up in price. But the loss of the value of your money, they might even print money to give business loans. You remember those business loans they gave for businesses to stay open during this tariff war? Like loans that would be forgiven at some point, or some fraction of it, or or extremely low interest loans to boost the businesses from shutting down, to keep their doors open, to make them be able to survive this and not totally crash Canadian economy. So what they would do, guys, is they might do the same thing they did before, and that is give the money to businesses, and the businesses would spend that money somewhere, more inflation. So I expect big inflation, and if the houses even retain the value and stand on the ground and basically be the same value, they would now cost more money, which would eventually make them more expensive. Now your salaries would probably not catch up to those incomes. So the forecast for that, higher expenses, cost of $1 million, more payments, lack of housing being built over these years. And people are like, oh, but the housing is, the housing is like a speculatory product. No, guys, you have to understand what housing really is. It's, if you look hierarchy of Maslow, you need to have shelter, you need to have food before you can satisfy your higher needs like emotional and things like that. So there's hierarchy. It's like, guys, even ants have places to stay, even rabbits dig a hole for themselves to stay somewhere, and we as humans also need a home. So houses is not like it should never be a luxury, which like Canada has made it into a luxury. So people would need homes. Of course, they would need real estate to stay somewhere. I'm talking about people, first-time home buyers, even people who have kids, growing families, things like that. They need places to stay. So it's out of question that people are going to stop buying real estate. If they want to live somewhere, they'll have to buy real estate, or they'll have to rent real estate from somebody who already purchased it to minimize their risks. So that's what we are going into, guys. Now, in order for the prices to skyrocket, we have to first, in the rest of Canada, I'm not talking about Calgary right now, sell off the resale inventory. And when they resell, like these ones that are already built, inventory goes low and goes high in prices. It's going to push retail prices, which are basically the real estate that's built, where you pay GST on it. It would push that prices up. Now, once the retail is sold out, they would need years to catch up to be able to meet the production on demand that's probably going to go up if people start printing money again, which might actually put the real estate prices really high if that is to happen, guys. This is like, I'm just discussing with you really potential. We don't know what the government is going to do, so I cannot forecast what's going to be. We are just talking about worst case scenario. If the most predictable scenario might happen and what the consequences are going to be if that does happen. So it is pretty bad, guys. By the way, it's interesting. There was a car and there was a bunch of military guys driving it with all the medals and stuff. That's kind of cool, guys. I didn't expect to see that walking on the street. In a moment, I'm going to show you a Canadian flag, an American flag on the same street, because Canada is there. By the way, that's what happened in Ukraine. Russia started pushing Ukraine into annexation, and then Ukrainians became ultra-patriotic. Like here in Canada, people are putting Canadian flags. Ukrainians started putting Ukrainian flags, becoming more and more patriotic. Then what Russia did is they said that Ukrainians are ultra-nationalistic Nazis, basically. So we have to go and free up Russian-speaking population from those ultra-nationalistic Nazi Ukrainians who are so patriotic. It's like, guys, it's insane. That actually happened in Ukraine. And now people in Canada are putting the flags. It is going to be just hilarious if something like that, if somebody like that in the United States comes out and says, well, Canadians are too nationalistic, too racist or something towards, well, I don't know who they come to protect here, English-speaking Canadians or French-speaking Canadians, I don't know, but it's going to be like, this is basically how it happens. When you push a country so much with the tariffs, and that's actually happened in Ukraine, people become more nationalistic and more supportive of their own culture, even though, of course, there are some people who are different. There's a guy with an American flag over there. Like, where is that? Guys, check this out. I don't know if you can see that. I think that's pretty American to me, even though he has an Alberta flag. Maybe he wants Alberta to join the US. But anyways, so the prices would go up. Now, let's talk a little bit about Calgary real estate. It's insane. I don't have the numbers on me right now. I'm literally talking off memory. Calgary real estate has been going down for a while now. But things are changing a lot right now. Let me explain. So the inventory compared to the last year, I believe total real estate is about 117%. Guys, I don't have the numbers memorized, so I might be making some minor errors here, but if you're interested, guys, you know where my contact is in the description of this video, guys. I'm busy XP Realty. Or send me an email and I'll send you all the data. If you really want to dig through the data yourself, the most accurate one provided by Calgary Real Estate Board, I'll send it to you. Now, also, the condos are like 90% month to month, more inventory as well. We have more apartments, really difficult to sell apartments right now. What has been going on, guys, in Calgary is last summer, the prices were skyrocketing for everything. There's lack of inventory for apartments. There was lack of inventory for detached homes. And honestly, guys, the detached homes were like multiple offers. And then in August, everything stopped. September, October, November, December, things been looking pretty dull and kind of going down. Even though in December, I sold like 3 properties, so December was pretty busy for me. It started being busy even before January, but 3 days ago, I was writing an offer, and there were 9 offers for a property within just over $500,000 range. There were 9 offers. There's multiple offer situations that are starting to happen. And I've been warning people since January on this channel, saying, guys, buy a home before April. Buy a home before April. But nobody's listening because people are, a lot of times, some people did listen. We purchased a bunch of homes for them, but some people didn't. So, yeah, I actually have some people waiting for April because of their astrologer telling them to wait. By the way, look at the motorcycle here. Lots of noise. Oh, that's a lots of noise motorcycle. So, yeah, the prices. We'll see what's going to be happening right now with the real estate, because it was like, first there were people like, I like it when it's slow. Honestly, people call me. They're like, hey Igor, let's see these homes on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Here's my schedule, whichever day is convenient, let's go see it. They would see a bunch of homes, or they would think for 2 days to buy or not to buy. Then they would be like, you know what, let's see some more homes next week, I'll think about it later. And then they would procrastinate a little bit later, maybe some next time. Then they would make up decision and buy something. But what happens in this kind of market is, I don't really like this kind of market, because now it becomes like this again, like it was last summer. It's starting again, like last summer, where it's like, hey Igor, this home just came out. Okay, it came out an hour ago. Okay, can we see it in 2 hours from now? And I have to be there opening the door, letting them in. That's why I've not been publishing for a couple of days videos, because the things are going nuts like that. I purchased a home just 2 days ago. We got an offer accepted for my clients, and just less than a week ago I sold a property that we got an offer accepted for the property that I'm selling. And it's picking up, guys. I'm running around with multiple clients right now, helping them out, and it's picking up. It's picking up again. Let's see how it's going to be next month in April. Even with the tariff threat, even with people being worried about tariffs and everything, people are uncertain. They're like, well, how is the market going to react? But it doesn't stop them from buying properties, from buying homes for themselves. So they are, regardless of anything, they just go and do what they were planning to do in terms of buying properties for themselves. Yeah, it's pretty interesting market situation right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to be slowing down. Yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys that Calgary real estate market is picking up again. You not see this on market reports right now that people are publishing, because people are going by outdated, older information. But I'm telling you right now that real estate is picking up so drastically, and it might, in April, we might be in a crazy real estate market again, with multiple offers that are already starting to happen. And once it picks up, that's when everyone is going to start calling me and saying, hey Igor, we want to buy a property. Can you help us with the purchase of the property? And that's when the market picks up. That's how people normally actually react to such market conditions. But let's see what's going to happen on April 2nd, if Trump is going to be putting those tariffs on Canada. they're going to try to annex Canada. Mark Carney already went to France and England, which is a different thing. I can make a separate video about politics, and it just shows he's trying to portray to Trump that we are more European than American country here. I know how it's going to turn out. There is a huge conspiracy about him being with Brookfield Asset Management and having commercial interests, and not, there is lots of things going on in our Canadian politics, but we'll talk about in some other video. I'll shoot another video for that matter to cover it. But here's what's happening in Calgary real estate. It's starting to pick up. It's getting hotter. And I have some people who decided to take a break a month ago to wait until April and then buy in April, thinking there'll be more inventory because the astrologer recommended to do that. And oh my goodness, would they be surprised once they're back on the market in April? And how it's going to be June, July. I hope it's not going to be like last year, where the houses were getting sold before I even reached there. No, guys, I don't want to be put in a panic here. I'm just saying that there are always in the comments for years, me being in real estate now, every year everyone is telling me the real estate is going to crash, and they'll wait for a crash, and they've been waiting for it, paying rent for years, which is great for those people who own real estate, but those guys, they don't own nothing. And now they can't even afford what they could afford, because guess what? Real estate prices have been going up so much over these years, and many cases incomes stayed the same. Let's see what happens next. I want to see, guys, what you think. My personal opinion, guys, is that if you need a home, if you are searching for a home to buy, first-time home buyer, and you can afford buying a home right now, you should buy it. Don't wait. You should definitely go and buy it and buy yourself a home and live in it. The best time to buy a home is now, regardless of economic situation. People who try to time the market and other things, that's when they start losing the money to inflation, or the real estate is just becomes more expensive faster than they can save enough down payment, and actually over the time they can afford less. It's like people who come to, by the way, for the mortgages, I'll tell you something about mortgages right now quickly. You know, with the drop of interest rates, there'll be lots of mortgage questions coming up, people who secured their mortgages. Now, I wanted to bring my wife into this video, but she's working too hard right now, getting a mortgage for a family that I know has just had an offer accepted. So I'm shooting the video by myself. But I'll tell you, I think she works with Mortgage Architects, is their brokerage now. She changed her brokerage. But anyways, I'll leave her contacts in the description of this video. A lot of people are going to be coming for refinance when the interest rates already went down, or going to be go down even more. And in many cases, you'll be able to save tens of thousands of dollars potentially, or at least thousands of dollars, on your refinance. So paying the penalty to the bank, breaking the mortgage, and refinancing can actually save you money. You have to run the number through her, and she'll help you out, guide you through the process. But I'm just saying to you guys, it's pretty crazy that you can actually save money on that. The variable rate is almost the same as fixed rate right now. It's like 4.10, 4.14 interest rate. I'm not a mortgage broker. I'm just giving you the information that I know. And I'll give you a contact of my wife as a mortgage broker to guide you on every step of the process. But I'm just saying to you, a lot of refinances are going to be happening. A lot of people are going to be breaking their mortgages. And if the tariffs come in power and they drop down the interest rates, a lot of people would be willing to get a mortgage, invest money while money is cheap, get themselves fixed on an interest rate. You know, I'll tell you something interesting. You probably have never heard about it. I know a guy who took a 10-year fixed mortgage rate when the interest rates were low. Can you imagine? Like, if you can do that, and you can actually do that, and I'll leave the contact description of this video, when the interest rates drop down to the bottom, that guy is laughing. He's just laughing about this entire economy. He's like, yeah, you suckers are paying so much. All the interest rates went up. I don't care. I have the lowest. Oh, they went down. I don't care. I still have the lowest. And I am okay for a decade. There are some people who are like that, who figured out the system and they locked themselves in. Can you imagine if the interest rates drop right now and you lock for 10 years? You probably didn't even know you could do that. Well, now you know. Guys, Thank you so much for watching. I'll read your comments. What do you think is going to actually happen with the economy? Your comments really do matter, and I read them all the time, as long as it's not spam, like some kind of Bitcoin nonsense. Those ones I don't read. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and see you next video. It's Igor with eXp Realty. Bye for now.